And our own Nick Robertson, our expert on Libya, and CNN terrorism analyst Paul Cruikshank. Thanks so much, guys, for being here. First, and Nick, what do we know about this shooting?
We know that he was running on the street, that the gunman pulled up in a car next to him, that they shot him as he was running along. There's some indications that perhaps they sort of moved up next to him, moved back, moved up and shot him. But he was shot in cold blood, no chance of self-defense. He was a chemistry teacher at the international school there in Benghazi. Benghazi has been getting increasingly dangerous. I was in Libya just 2 months ago, and at that time, Westerners were being evacuated from Benghazi, from hotels there, because it was so dangerous. But why was Ronnie Smith running on a road in Benghazi? He must have felt to a degree that it was safe. Well liked by his students, we're told there. Jake?
What have we learned so far about Ronnie Smith, this teacher with a wife and a child?
Yeah, he's got a young son, a wife. He's well liked by his students. Many of them have been posting messages on social media websites saying that they like him, that he was one of the reasons that they came to class. He inspired them. They liked him because he'd come to Libya. The principal at the school said that he was a very sweet man. Every indication that all those around him liked him, Jake.
All right, thanks so much. I want to turn to Paul for a second now. American-born al-Qaeda spokesman Adam Gaddan, he recently called for attacks on Westerners in retaliation for the arrest of al-Libi. Obviously, it's very early yet. But based on what you know about terrorism investigations, do you think investigators are looking into a possible connection?
They'll be definitely looking at a possible connection. Benghazi is a city where there's a strong presence of groups who have sympathy with al-Qaeda, groups who are linked to al-Qaeda, including Ansar al-Sharia, the group thought responsible for the attack on the US consulate in Benghazi in September 2012. So they'll be definitely looking at that. These are groups which have extended their influence across eastern Libya, entrenched their position over the last year, Jake.
And in terms of the Smith family, eventually they're going to get, and I don't know if they'll ever get over their grief, but they're going to want justice. They'll want answers. We still don't have answers for what happened in Benghazi last September 2012. What are the odds in a place like Libya that we'll ever know really what happened?
It's pretty unlikely, perhaps. Still not many answers over Benghazi. Very, very difficult for the FBI to get over to places like Benghazi. Very difficult even for the Libyan central government to actually operate in Benghazi. But there's one encouraging trend of the last couple of weeks, and that's that the people of Benghazi have been rising up against these Islamist groups like Ansar Sharia in the city. So it's possible they may be pressured to actually leave the city in the coming months.
And Nick, I just want to make sure that I understood when you described how he was shot. He was running, a car pulled up, according to early information, a car pulled up, targeted him, and drove away. So it doesn't sound as though there was a robbery. It sounds like he was targeted specifically, maybe just for being a Westerner, but specifically an attack on him for being who he was.
Certainly the intelligence analysts are going to look at this and say, why was he targeted? And one of the reasons that people are going to conclude is that it was because he was an American and perhaps an easy target. And one of the things that terrorists do when they're going to target someone is work out and watch for patterns of behavior. If he was a regular running the same route at roughly the same time, that could be something that could play into terrorists' hands. So if they were responding to Adam Gaddan's message, and there are certain similarities with that message and the message that al-Qaeda leader Ayman al-Zawahiri put out just days before the killing of Ambassador Chris Stevens, which was to target Americans in Libya, then they would have had perhaps a ready-made target there, an American, a soft target. He feels that is relatively safe, and he's got a routine that they've already calculated and worked out. So it's very difficult at this early stage to know what the facts are. But when you're analyzing it, that's one of the ways that certainly intelligence analysts are going to analyze what's happened here, Jake.